So this is Dion
Hi,
Ringgold with
Mom.
InClub Magazine. How are you today?
Nice to meet you. Very good. Thank
Likewise,
you.
likewise. I'm super excited to speak with you. So it's funny, when I first knew I was going to talk to you, I started thinking about Mary, and I was like the impact that she must have, maybe even before then, but especially since. So I wanted to ask you, what have you learned about her from season one to this season that you maybe didn't know going into this that may change some things? And then the
Oh,
part two is what has you learned about yourself through this process?
oh, wow. Well, definitely about her. I have to say that the image I had of Mary when I came into this project was just like, the fragile, very vulnerable woman. Her hands were, made of milk almost, just like, um, and it now the image I have of her is just so much more raw. It's like, you know, she's earth now. She's not air. She is, I picture her like strong, but in so many different ways, not only emotional, but only also physical. Um, I was reading a book the other day. I always forget the name of the author. Forgive me. I have the worst case of mommy brain ever. Um, it's been 7 years, but it's okay. I can still call it mommy.
Totally okay.
Because I only started. The it wasn't a biography per se on Mary, but it was a biography of, let's say, women in that time. So, could have what her life could have been like. And really, I mean, you're looking at people who were just incredibly active. I mean, climbing hills every day, walking miles and miles and miles. She in our show, we are always talking about her collecting berries, and so I picture her hands being cut and bruised, and
Mm,
in different ways, and like her nails are dirty, and she I feel like that's the type of woman um I see her as. And with that comes wisdom, and with that
mhm,
comes just life experience and pain. But the kind of pain that is just natural of life, of living on this earth. And yet, I also think that, or at least I won, this is the part of me that I put in her is this Latina, this Latino background of mine where, even though, because my family is full of women who have suffered and who have had,
mhm,
very hard lives, but they love to laugh and they love to
mhm.
live and they dance and they joke and
Yeah.
they are warm and they feel like an embrace. And so, um, yeah, I think this is all that I've been able to put together and kind of gift to her. And of course, the writing really um, uh, um, has supported all that
Yeah.
because we see her, you know, her relationship with Jesus is as much joking around as it is very serious conversations and emotional moments. And
Yeah.
I love that about her. I love that she has a
Yeah.
sense.
Absolutely. Have you learned anything about yourself in this process from season one to
Wow.
season five playing this character?
I think all that I just said,
Yeah.
how women and how mothers are in my family. We're really looking back and say, oh wow, we really do this, don't we? We
Mm.
take care of our own, even when they're 45, they're still our babies.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And
love
we
that.
love feeding them. Like this is not only the women in my family. My
Yeah.
dad loves feeding his children. He
Yeah.
loves it. And just like you, if you are on your third helping,
Yeah.
he is the happiest man on earth. And I think
Wow.
like, that is something that I also like I cook for my children 3 times
Yeah.
a day, and it's just a love language on its own.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Um,
I love that.
and so, I think a lot of communities share that. I also think maybe, Jewish mothers around the world may agree that, we worry about our children even until they're in, they're adults. And so
Yeah. You said something I thought was interesting. So I wanted to ask you what kind of informed how you portrayed her, but it sounds like the women in your family helped kind of inform and shape that. Was there any actresses or any films you watched, TV shows that kind of helped you as you started to prepare for this role, and what did you want to bring to her?
funny enough, I actually made it a point not to watch anything that had Mary in it, any iteration of Mary, because I thought this was such a unique take on this story. I could see it from the very first script or very first scene I read.
Mm,
I actually had to do a double take because I was like, oh wait, are we, is this Mary? Like
yeah.
Mary? Because I thought I had never heard her speak in these terms. I had
Yeah.
never just had I had never seen a scene of her talking to another woman, let alone
Mm,
a friend, and
yeah.
just being a friend and hanging out. And it was so refreshing. And I saw so clearly, well, specifically my grandma, but my grandma's sister also. I always say that it's just like, oh, that's them.
Mm,
And so
wow.
for her, it was already, when I read her, she seemed already like she could be part of my family.
Wow, I love that. So as you're going through this and you're playing, because I mean, there's just grief, right? But there's laughter. There's this great duality of, beauty for ashes as well that I think you portrayed really well. Was there any scenes in particular that was harder to play than others, or that you had to mentally prepare for more? And kind of walk me through that process. You're going on set before maybe a scene that you know is going to require this depth of emotional toll on yourself to kind of bring the screen.
Well, season 6 was just all of it. All of it.
Yeah.
Um, but I think it started earlier. I think one of the things that I've been talking about a lot recently actually has been just using everything.
Mm,
Your life, how you feel right now. Um, just putting everything in service of this story. And so one of the things I always say is that I think it was for season 4, it wasn't even for season 5 or 6. I was going into set and I really did not want to do an emotional scene that day. I was like, why? Um, I wanted the fun scenes,
right.
not the crazy emotional scenes. Um, but and that has stuck with me because it was the first time I kind of said to myself, oh, she doesn't want to be there either. She doesn't want to do
Mm,
this either. She much rather be at home and cooking for her child and maybe waiting for him to visit her, than having to deal with all this pain and all this just brutal um um emotional, all these images too,
yeah.
because at first I thought maybe she didn't know the specifics. She knew that he was going to die, but
Yeah.
not how. And then I've kind of changed my tune because I read how commonplace crucifixion was for the people who went against the state.
Hmm.
And so that is a very drastic change because it's almost like you dread, like your worst nightmare,
Yeah.
right? For your child is to, I mean, this is one of the most horrific deaths possible. So
Yeah.
this is your worst nightmare, and all of a sudden your worst nightmare is becoming a reality. And how do you deal with that? And so um anyway, back to the story I was telling you, like she also does not want to see her child suffer. And so this is how you, at least, my way of putting myself inside her headspace
Yeah.
and trying to understand her a little bit is how,
Yeah.
how hard it must have been. I can't I've never had to, and God forbid, lose a child. I
Yeah.
don't know what that is like. I don't know what saying goodbye to your child or to a very close loved one is like. And
Yeah.
so I've been very fortunate in that respect. Um, what can I do to get a little closer to that reality?
Mm. Yeah. No, that's so good. So getting close to that, right? So you mentioned that you're a mother. How many children do you have?
Too.
So you have two. Are they of age where they can watch you? Do they see you?
They
And
see me. One of them kind of understands what I do. The other one has no idea. Like she's like, What are you doing?" Like, today I was just
yeah.
putting regular makeup on, but it will, I can tell you can tell how much makeup I put on a regular basis. That she was like, "What are you doing?"
Right. That's
As if
so
she's
funny.
never seen me put lipstick on before. So it's kind of cool. I She hasn't seen much of The Chosen because there are things I think that are still a little beyond her
You're
grasp.
right.
Um, and especially she's been on set. My oldest one has, and so that was a very special day for me, but not
Got
this
it.
season, of course.
Very cool. Last question, because my time is up.
Yes, yes.
What do you want mothers in particular to kind of take away from this character? I love how you started that you kind of understood and seen Mary in this new way. Is there anything specifically that you hope that they take away that they can add to how they live as mothers and women as well?
Yeah, oh my gosh. Her strength is something that I found as a revelation almost about her. Um, which makes sense, but it's one of those things that you don't really stop to think about it.
Yeah.
And then I always think of her as being very aware of being part of a bigger picture,
Mm, yeah.
bigger story.
Yeah.
It's like accepting her role in all of this. It's and the image I always give is the image of a puzzle where yes, you are but a piece, but it's an important piece because you're holding other pieces
Mm,
up
yeah.
and you are supporting other pieces, but these other pieces are also supporting you.
Yeah.
So your part in this story is important, but it's just one part.
Yeah. That's so good. That's so good. Thank you so much for being generous with your time. Thank you, guys. I
Thank you, Dion. It
appreciate you
was great.
all.